الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح ما أغلق والخاتم ما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراط المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Thank you to have been with us. We thank you a lot to have met us this morning. We are on Tuesday, the 23rd of June 2016. Okay, we are on Tuesday, the 23rd of June 2016. We thank you a lot to have been with us this morning. Okay, and we are on the fasting month, the 14th day of fasting month 2016. You are now listening to your brother. You are with your brother in Islam, Mr. Berthé Issiaka. Mr. Berthé Issiaka, coming from Mali, the Republic of Mali, the region of Sikasso, the third region of Mali, coming from the village of Kléla, far from Sikasso, of 45 kilometers, situated between Sikasso and Puchala. Okay, the student who has not been formed by a teacher in Islam, the ambassador of the divine kingdom on earth. We thank you a lot to have been with us this morning in order to further our presentation like last time, and as we promised you last time to be with you in order to remind each other of the goal of our creation. And this morning, if we are together this morning, it is in order to further the presentation, and this is why the remembrance is very useful for the believer. Okay, this is why God says, "Fazakir فَإِنَّ الذِّكْرَ تَنْفَعُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ." God asked the prophet to remember people, because to remember the believers, because the remembrance is very useful for the believers. It means if you remember God, you will not forget God. But if you don't remember God, so you will mislead yourself and you will forget God. This is why you must remember yourself of God. You must remember God. Okay? And here, as usual, it is not the first time we meet up each other. It's not the first time. It is as usual. And today, the topic of today is the most important. Okay? It's the most important topic because it's about God. This topic is about God. This is why this topic is the most important of what we present to you and what we will have to present to you. Okay? This one is the most important because it is about God. It's about God, and we cannot present to you another topic which will be more important than this one because it is about God. It's about God. Why? You know the other. Okay? You know the rest. If the topic is about God, so it is the most important. Okay? The most important and the most famous. Okay? And here we are going now to, it is about two questions. We are going to respond to questions by presenting you this topic. We are going to respond to two questions, okay, in order to present you this topic. And those two questions, the first one is about the evidences which prove that God exists. Okay, the evidences, what are the evidences which prove that God exists? This is the first question. The second question, where is God? Okay, where is God? Where is God? And we are going to respond to those two questions in order to present this topic. Because we said to you last time that the belief is the most important element in Islam. The belief. You have to believe. You have to believe. And if the belief is the most important of Islam, if you must believe, you must believe in some pillars. Okay? And the first of basic pillar is God. If the belief is the most important thing and the most important element and the basic element in Islam, then the first pillar of this faith is the most important. Okay? If the belief is the most important, but the first pillar of belief is the most important. And the first pillar of the belief is God. You must believe first in God. This is the first pillar of the belief. Okay? The second pillar of the belief is to believe in His angels. To believe in His angels. And the third is to believe in His creatures. Okay? And the fourth is to believe in the last day or in the hereafter. And the fifth is to believe in all His prophets or in all His messengers. And the last one is to believe in the resurrection. So here, there are some pillars in what you must believe truly in order to get the exact belief. And this is why God says, whoever rejects faith or belief, his work will be in vain, and in the hereafter he will be among the losers. Then you must look for the belief. You must look for the belief. And if you must look for the belief, so here we are going to study. Okay, we are going to study for you the first pillar of the belief, which is God. First question: what are the evidences which prove that God exists? And it is a very good question here, and it's a question that everybody must ask himself before. Okay, so that you may believe in God. So you have to know first. So that you may believe in God, you have to know first the evidences which prove that God exists. And if you don't know if God exists, how can you believe in God if you don't know if God exists? It is not possible. So that you may believe in God, you have to know first if God exists. And if you don't know if God exists, you will not be able to believe in God. This is not possible. This is not possible. And so that you may believe in God, you have to know if God exists or not. This is why God says, "Arifuni min qabl an ta'buduni." Arifuni min qabl an ta'buduni. God asks you first. He exhorts you. He asks us first to know Him. To know Him before worshipping Him. God says, "Know me before adoring me or before worshipping me." It means what? You mustn't adore God if you don't know God. You mustn't worship God if you don't know God. And if you don't know something, how can you worship something you don't know? How can you worship something you don't know? It's not possible. So that you may worship something, so you have to know that thing. If you don't know that thing, you cannot worship it. But to tell you here that, you have to know God first. You have to know God first before worshiping God or before adoring God. And if you don't know God, you cannot worship God suitably. Okay? If you don't know God, you can't believe in God. This is why we have been questioned about two questions by saying, where is God and what are the evidences which prove that God exists? First, we are going to give you first the evidences which prove you that God exists. Okay? And after, we will tell you the place of God, where God is. And here, the first is the evidences. The first are the evidences which prove that God exists. And that evidences are the following. For example, if we take example of the invention, okay, we take an example from the invention, for example, the invention, okay. This invention, in the invention we are inventor, okay, and we are something invented, okay. In the invention we are the inventor and something invented, okay. We are inventor and something invented, and we cannot have invention without something invented, and we cannot have also something invented without inventor, okay. If this mic has been invented, so it's supposed that it has been invented by an inventor. If this mic has been invented, it has been invented by an inventor. And if these glasses have been invented, they have been invented also by an inventor. But we cannot have anything which has been invented and it has not been invented by an inventor. This is not possible because the thing will not or will have not been invented itself. This is not possible, and this is about the invention. If the plane has been invented, it has been invented by an inventor. It is the same question if we take the same example of the creation. Okay? The same example of the creation is the same. There is creation. They must have creator. Okay? And a created thing. A thing created. Okay? There is creation, creator, and a created thing. And then we cannot have creation without these two elements. Something created and a creator. Okay? If we take example of this creation, okay, we know that the car has been created, the plane has been created, the phone has been created, the computer has been created, and so on, and so on. But there are also some things which have not been created. Excuse me. So they have not been created, but they have been invented. Okay, the car has been invented, the plane has been invented, the glasses have been invented, the phone has been invented, the computer has been invented. Okay, so now right. But there are also some things which are not, or which have not been invented, but they have been created. And that thing has been created. If the invented thing must have inventor, and the created thing also, the created thing must have creator. Okay? If invented things have inventor, but also created things must have creator. Okay? Then, if we take example of the creature, okay, we take example of the creature. We take example from monkey, okay, from human. If we take example from human, we will realize that human also has been created. Human has been created. If human has been created, if man has been created, okay, and now it has been created like this. It has not been created like this. If it has been created, so then she must have been created by something else, by a creator. If monkey has been created, he must have been created by a creator. And now if monkey or man is the creator, so now who is now the creator of man? Who is now the creator of man? You know that man can't be created like this himself. Man can't be created himself. It must have been created by another thing. And if man has been created, and who is now the creator of man? Americans? No. Americans themselves. Americans also have been created. Who is now the creator of man? Africans? No. Africans also have been created. Who is now the creator of man? French? French also have been created. Chinese? Chinese also have been created. Now, who is now the creator of man? Who is our creator? Who is our Lord? Who is our Lord? We have been created, but by whom? By whom? We have been created by whom? Who has created us? Or who has created us? Okay? If we have been created, so we cannot be created like this. You didn't create yourself. Me myself, I didn't create myself, and he didn't create himself. Nobody is created himself, but everybody has been created. And if creation supposes creator, so now, and if we are creators, now who is our creator? That we tell you that God is our creator. We have been created by God. We have been created by God. Man has been created by God. Because we cannot have a creator without creator. This is not possible. This is not logical. Okay? This is not logical. We cannot. This is not logical. This is not logical. If there is creator, there must have creator. There is no creator without creator. This is not possible. And if we have been created, we must have been created by a creator, and our creator is God. This is the third evidence which proves to you that God exists. Okay? If God hadn't, for example, existed, okay? If God didn't exist, for example, there will have not man, for example, we will have not been created if God didn't exist. Okay? And this is the third evidence which proves to you that God exists. They must have something we call God. Okay? And if we let, for example, monkey, and we take example of another thing, animals, the lion, for example. The lion also has been created. And if it has been created, it must have been created by a creator. And this creator is God. Elephant has been created. And if it has been created, it must have been created by another thing, God. Also, dog has been created. It must have been created by something else, God. Birds also has been created. It must have been created by something, God. Okay? And so on, and so on. All creatures must have been created by something. Because there is no creation without these two elements, created thing and creator. And where there is creator, there is creation. But we cannot have creation without creator. Okay? And here, the creator of everything is God. And that are some evidences for you, briefly, which can prove for you, or which can prove you that God exists. And this is exactly what God says in chapter number 2, verse number 164. In chapter number 2, verse number 164. Chapter number 2, verse number 164. Okay? God says, في سورة البقرة آية 194 what it was من قوله تعالى إن في خلق السماوات والأرض واختلاف الليل والنهار والفلق التي تجري في البحر بما ينفع الناس والماء وما أنزل الله من السماء من ماء فأحيا به الأرض بعد موتها وبث فيها كل دابة وتصريف رياح وسحاب مسخرة بين السماء والأرض لآيات لقوم يعقلون. God says in chapter number 2, verse number 164, God says, in the creation of heaven and earth, in the alternation of night and day, in the ships that sail the ocean for the benefit of mankind, in the water that God sends down from the sky, that He revives the earth after it had died, and scatters all kinds of creatures, and the changing of one, and the clouds dispersed between sky and earth are things for people who understand. And there are some evidences God Himself listed for us. God says that in the creation of the heavens and the earth, it means that. It means what? For example, if you look at, you try to look at the sky. You try to look at the sky, you will realize that the sky is like this. It is like this. It doesn't move. It doesn't move. It's like this. And it is like this. It has been like this since long time, since a long moment. And it doesn't move. It is like this. And it is not deposited, and it is not set on a pillar. There is no pillar under the sky. The sky is like this. And God says, in this situation, in this creation, there is a thing. There is evidence for people who understand. After this, God says also the creation of earth. The creation of earth. The earth also is like this. And it is like this. We don't know what is under the earth. We don't know. The earth is like this. We are working. We are playing. We are doing everything we want. But we don't know what is under this earth. We don't know. We ignore it. And if we ignore it, it's only God who knows what is under. We don't know it. Then, God said that in this creation also there are things for people who understand. The creation of the heaven and the creation of the earth, there are things for people who understand. Because they cannot have creation without creator. If the sky has been created, the sky must have the creator. And if the earth also has been created, the earth must have also a creator. And God says also the alternation of the night and the day. Alternation of the night and the day. Alternation of the night and the day. For example, if there is changing, for example, the night changes, for example, the day, and the day changes night, and so on and so on. Alternatively, every day there is day, and every day there is night. God says this alternation also is a thing for people. This alternation, the alternation between night and day. In this also they must have things to people who understand. Alternation. every day there is night, every day there is day. But there isn't only any day which there is no night or there is no day. But every day there is day, every day there is night. Alternation. God says also in this, they must have things to people who understand. And after this also, he says, and sheep that serve the autumn for the benefit of mankind. If you try to see also this, the autumns also, in the autumns also there are things to people who understand in the autumns. The autumns, the phase, and so on. Okay? And God says the changing of the world. Sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's hot. Okay? A moment it's cold, and a moment it's hot. God says that this is changing of warmth. Sometimes we are cold, sometimes we are hot. Okay? God says that this is change or the changing of the warmth. In this also they must have sense for all that are evidences which prove you God exists. Which prove you God exists. And God says also the clothes disposed between sky and earth. Here that are evidences apparent. That are apparent evidences which prove you that God exists. Because all that can't be like this. The sky has been created, and if it has been created, it would have not been created itself. This is not possible. Okay? If the earth also has been created, it would have not been created by him itself. This is not possible. Okay? And so on, and so on. Here, there are some evidences for you. Okay? There are some evidences for you which must prove you that God exists. Okay? There are proofs here. There are evidences which prove for you that God exists. And after this now, the second question is about the place of God. Where is God? Where is God? Where is God? And the answer to this question is that God is everywhere. Okay? God is everywhere. If you must ask me, or you want to ask me, for example, about God, the place of God, so I will tell you that God is everywhere. God is everywhere. But sometimes we say God is up. God is up. So here we must explain this. We must explain this because if God is up, it doesn't mean that God is not everywhere. But God is everywhere. And after, we will explain you how can God be one and be everywhere. Okay? How can God be one and be everywhere? We will explain you this after. But you have to know first that God is one and He is everywhere. And we are going now to give you first the evidences which prove you that God is everywhere. The evidences which prove you that God is everywhere. Then, when we will give you them, so now we'll explain you how is this possible. Okay? How is this possible? And here we are going to give you the evidences which prove you that God is everywhere. Okay? We are going to give you the evidences which prove you that God is everywhere. This is God Himself says in chapter number 57, verse number 4. In chapter number 57, verse number 4. Chapter number 57, verse number 4. God says, هو الذي خلق السماوات والأرض في 6 أيام ثم استوى على العرش يعلم ما يلج في الأرض وما يخرج منها وما ينزل من السماء وما يعرج فيها وهو معكم أينما كنتم والله بما تعملون بصير. In chapter number 57, verse number 4, it is He who created heaven and earth in 6 days. Then, settled over the throne. He knows what territories in the earth and what comes out of it, and what descends from the sky and what ascends in it. And He is with you wherever you may be. And He is with you wherever you may be. And He is with you wherever you may be. And He is with you wherever you may be. Okay? And He is with you wherever you may be. So here, God says that He is with you wherever you may be. Wherever you may be, God is with you there. And here, and God is seeing of what you do. God is seeing of everything you do. So here, God says us, He informs us that He is with us wherever we may be. Okay? And He is with you wherever you may be. And here, this is the first evidence which proves you that God is everywhere. Everywhere you may be, God is with you there. If you are alone, He is with you. If you are accompanied, He is with you. Wherever you may be, God is with you there. Okay? And this knowledge is very important, because if you don't know that God is everywhere, or God is with you everywhere, so now, it is this knowledge. If you know this, for example, you know that God is with you everywhere, this knowledge will be very useful for you, because it will present you before committing or before disobeying in God. It's this knowledge which will permit you, or which will prevent you to disobey in God or to commit sin. Okay? If you don't know that God is everywhere, so now you will disobey in God. Because when you will be alone, you think that nobody sees me. Nobody sees me. And if you don't know that God sees you, and you will say also, God doesn't see me. God doesn't see me, and you will commit sin, or you will disobey in God. But if you knew that God was seeing you, okay, so you will have not committed this sin. But if you don't know that God sees you, and here you will be like this, and it will be very easy for you to disobey God. This is why you have to know first that God is everywhere, and He is with you wherever you may be. Then you will be able to respect God's orders. And this is the third chapter, which informs us that God is everywhere. And after the chapter also, in chapter number 58, verse number 7. Chapter number 58, verse number 7, God says, أَلَمْ تَرَ أَنَّ اللَّهَ يَعْلَمْ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ مَا يَكُونُ مِنْ نَجْوَى ثَلَاثَةٍ إِلَّا هُوَ رَابِعُهُمْ وَلَا خَمْسَةٍ إِلَّا هُوَ سَادِسُهُمْ وَلَا أَدْنَى مِنْ ذَلِكَ وَلَا أَكْثَرَ إِلَّا هُوَ مَعَهُمْ أَيْنَمَا كَانُوا ثُمَّ يُنَبِّئُهُم يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ بِمَا عَمِلُوا وَاللَّهُ بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ عَلِيمٌ. In chapter number 58, verse number 7, God says, do you not realize that God knows everything in the heaven and everything in earth? There is no secret counsel between three, but He is their first. Nor 5, but He is their 6. Nor less, nor more than that, but He is with them wherever they may be. Wherever they may be. Wherever they may be. Okay? Wherever they may be, then God will inform them on the day of resurrection, because God has knowledge of everything. And here, this is the second chapter, which informs us that God is everywhere. This is why God says you that, and He is with them wherever they may be. He is with them wherever they may be. And here, wherever they may be, it means everywhere. Everywhere. And God says There is no there is no secret council between three. But He is their first. It means if you are free, you have to know that God is your first. He sees you, or He is thinking of what you do. He is your first. And if you are five, you have to know that God is your sixth. If you are less than that, it means if you are alone, you have to know that God is your second. If you are two, God is your third. If you are four, God is your fifth. If you are five, God is your sixth. If you are six, God is your seventh. If you are seven, God is your eighth. Even if you are one, God is your second. It's with you, wherever you may be. Okay? And whither you may be. Okay? And here, this is the second chapter which informs us that God is everywhere. Okay? And here, for example, chapter number 2. Chapter number 2, verse number 168. Chapter number 2, verse number 168. And 86, not 68, but in 86. Okay? Chapter number 2, verse number 86. 86, God says, فَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي أَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِي فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي وَلْيُؤْمِنُوا بِي لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْشُدُونَ. In chapter number 2, verse number 186, God says, and when my servants ask you about me, I'm near. And if my servants ask you about me, I'm near. I answer the call of the caller when he calls on me. I answer the call of the caller when he calls on me. Let them answer my call and have faith and have belief in me, so that they may be rightly get it. And when my servants ask you about me, I'm near. I answer the call of the caller when he calls on me. Let them answer my call and have faith in me, so that they may be rightly get it. And when my servants ask you about me, I'm near. I'm near. It's God who informs us that He is near. If you want to ask about God, God informs you that He is near. If you want to know where is God, God says that He is near. If you don't know where is God, God says He is near. He is near. And here, He is near. If you are in a storm, He is near you. If you are alone, He is near you. If you are in a wrong, He is near you. You are living wrong, He is near you. Okay? If you are in the market, He is near you. God is near you, wherever you may be. And this is why, if you know this, when you will want to disobey God, or when you will want to commit sin, and this knowledge will prevent you, because you know that God sees you, because He is near. Okay? And before disobeying in God, if you know this, so this knowledge will prevent you to commit. This knowledge will prevent you to disobey God. But if you don't know that God is near you, so then you will not be able to respect God's orders. So that you may respect God's orders, so you must know that God is with you and He is near you. Okay? And there are some evidences which prove you that God is everywhere. And now, how is this possible? How is this possible? How can God be one and be everywhere? How can God be one and be everywhere? So this is very easy to demonstrate. Okay? This is very easy to demonstrate because it's very easy to demonstrate. Because if we take an example, if God is one, God can be one and being everywhere. This is possible because if we take an example of the sky, for example, the sky you see, the sky me I see, okay, and the sky everybody sees. If we take an example of this sky, for example, I ask you How many are they? How many are they? You will say, for example, 7 events or 7 skies. So now, right? I ask you now to forget the other skies. Okay? I ask you now to forget the 6 other skies, and we will take now example of the sky that everybody sees. Okay? The first sky. Now this sky is 1. This sky is 1. And now, if you want to know that God can be one and being everywhere, I ask you now, the sky is 1. Now, where is it? Where is the sky? It is where? Sometimes you can say me that it is up. Now, right? The sky is up. But it's where? It's in what country? What country is it? In what country is it? In Mali. Only in Mali. The sky is Mali. If you say no, the sky is where? In France. In France, you will say no. The sky is where? In America, you will say no. The sky is where? In Europe, you will say no. In Asia, you will say no. In Asia, you will say no. In Africa, you will say no. But you will say sky is everywhere. The sky is everywhere. Wherever you go, you will find sky there. In Africa, you will find sky. Okay? In America, you will find sky. In Europe, you will find sky. Sky is everywhere, but it is one. And God also is one, and it is everywhere. Okay? God also is one, and He is everywhere. Like the sky. Because the sky has been created by God. And the sky will not be able to do something that God will not be able. This is not possible. If the sky has been created by God, and the sky is able to be one and big everywhere, so God will not be unable to be one and to be everywhere. This is not possible because it is not the sky who has created God, but it is God who has created the sky. And the sky will not be able to do something that God will not be able. This is not possible. And this is the example of the sky first. If we take example of the sun also, the sun. Okay, the sun here. You will tell me that the sun is one. And sometimes if I ask you, you will say it's up. It's up. But after this, I will ask you again, where is it? In what country is it? In Africa or in America or in Europe or in Asia? You will say me that the sun is everywhere. But it is one. And it is the same case here. God also is one and He is everywhere. Because if the sun is one, is able to be one and being everywhere, God who has created the sun will not be unable to do something the sky did. This is not possible. Or the sun did. This is not possible. Okay? And if we take example of the earth, I will ask you, for example, you will say me, the earth. In this time, you will not say that the earth is up. The earth is not up, but it is under. And now, where is it now? The earth. In what country is it? In Africa? The earth is in Africa. You will say no. The earth is in America. You will say no. The earth is in Europe. You will say no. The earth is in Asia. You will say no. Now, where is it? You will say me. You will tell me this. The earth is everywhere. The earth is everywhere. But if we take example of this earth, it is one, only one, and this earth is one, and it is in every country, or it is everywhere. And also, God is one, and He is everywhere, because the earth will not be able to do something that God will not be able. This is not possible, because it is not the earth which has created God, but it's God who has created earth, and the earth will not be able to do something that God will not be able. And that are some evidences which prove you that God is one and He is everywhere. Okay? So now, we thank you a lot. You are listening to your brother. Mr. Berthé Issiaka. Mr. Berthé Issiaka coming from Mali, the Republic of Mali, the region of Sikasso, third region of Mali, coming from the village of Kléla, far from Sikasso of 45 kilometers, situated between Sikasso and Kochala. The student who has never being formed by a teacher in Islam. Okay? And the student who has not been learned by someone, the Quran by someone, or the religion by someone. Okay? And the ambassador of the divine kingdom on earth, we thank you a lot. We thank you a lot to have followed this presentation, and we promise you to be with you next time. Okay? We are looking forward to be with you. Thank you, and next time.